So what is up, guys? Welcome back to an episode of It's Not Nerfed. But we're going to go over it and help you guys understand Tetra a little bit better in this video. I think we could have rushed this card and not given you a better explanation of it. But I'm going to try to help you in the best way to understand Tetra's purpose in Zero's format. So obviously he has a limit break 4 and he gains 5,000 power when he attacks. So he's going to be at 1,600 before he even goes after the Vanguard, in a sense, or a rear guard. Depends where you're at. And pretty much what he does is, of course, as you know, at the end of the battle, your rear guard attacked, and if it was the 4th battle, counterblast 2 and discard 2 cards to stand this unit, and then you draw 2. Alright, and also, guess what? He gains 3,000 power when attacking the Vanguard as well. So how does this play out for you? Obviously, the best thing about Tetra is he's actually buffed. He doesn't need it to be the 2nd attack. He can attack when he wants. He just needs to be the 5th battle of that turn. So how Tidal Assault plays in this, and freaking Wheel Assault over here, Wheel Assault helps you with some of those plays. You can move around units. You can do stuff. Wheel Assault is legit a backup plan if you hypothetically don't maybe have your freaking Tetra or something, or you don't have your Ripple, Benedict, or normal Ripple, or something, Diamantes, Basil. These cards are here to help you achieve Tetra's effect, in a sense, because Tetra needs to do his effect, but he also needs to be the 5th attack, and the only way to get that 5th attack is through, obviously, a Basil or Diamantes play, or a Wheel. So how is Ripple going to benefit? How will Tidal Assault help? And how will Benedict even benefit either? I mean, they're both restanders. They both do their thing. How can you profit with this card? Obviously, it loses 5,000, but lo and behold, keep in mind, Tetra Drive keeps a quad check. So you can possibly be hitting one trigger, and this unit can go up to 1,400, and then he can swing at the Vanguard normally, and then restand himself, then get boosted, and then, after he gets boosted, and your opponent got hit all those times, Tetra restands, and if you have a booster in the back of Tetra, everything's going to play out correctly. That's what gives it that aggressive playstyle. Basil and Diamantes definitely guarantee the 2 damage, but so can Tidal Assault if your opponent doesn't trigger, and you trigger, and then they both go off. Now, where's the secret in the play in this? Obviously, I screenshot Accelerated Commander. This can help your Ripple. This helps Tidal. This helps Benedict. Going over to the Vanguard helps you just swing once, and then if you hit a trigger, and hypothetically, if you hit a trigger, you go up to 1,600, go down to 1,100, and boost. It's the same thing, but a little bit more extra juicy because if I swing 5,000, you go down to 6,000. That doesn't help you swing twice. But if he pushes to 11,000 with a trigger, this guy goes up to 16, then he goes down to 11, and then he kind of attacked twice to the extent of now Tetra can restand and do another attack. If there's a booster in back of Tetra, he will go up possibly 2,500, but you may want to be putting a good booster in the back, like a 7K. Which I think, again, this is where Wheel Assault would actually play his role in a sense, but you can't really put him there because you got to be able to exchange properly, and you still have to be able to boost Tetra in that sort of fashion. Obviously, this just makes Aqua go very trigger reliant, but at least you can pitch 2 cards and draw 2 cards. The Seal, this is a card you possibly will need for your Ripple play, in a sense, because this unit gives any unit plus 2,000. But why does this unit have more value? Because if you're running Basil, you're running Diamantes, legit, you can even put this in the back of the Vanguard, power up a Diamantes, hit cross-ride numbers always when using this unit. That way you get your attack in. But at the end, who's going to get the next attack in? Obviously, because you waste a Seahorse. So there's debating on that. Very hard debate. You may not realize, you may not. Who knows? I mean, but this is like a guaranteed 2,000 to your Ripple, your Benedict, and you can do plays with it. Obviously, I'm thinking this Seahorse is like final turn, but it doesn't mean you can't hold on to this, rest it, give a unit 2,000, replace it with a 7K. That way you guarantee the hit. So you could do a lot of pressure with this type of unit, even in the back. It doesn't even have to stay back there. If it's like a good final turn, rest, give like Ripple 11K, give Benedict a 12K, and legit you can replace this with another booster. So they're going to be key piece reliant with this. But this Sea Soldier isn't so bad for the Tetra Ripple plays with Tidal Assault and Benedict, because they'll both be at 11k, which means 2 attacks on the Vanguard plus a 3rd attack with Tetra, or you're using Basil and Diamante, so technically you could possibly get 5 attacks on the Vanguard. Also, keep in mind, if their intercept game is lame, you get away with a lot. You could get away with a lot if the intercept game is very low. Especially when they're on their final damage, it is legit game over in that sense. The whole point to break riding Tetra Drive in the sense of Transcore, you need Wheel Assault. Wheel Assault helps you with your plays. With Wheel Assault, you're going to be able to exchange a unit even in the back of the Vanguard. Say you put a G2 in the back of the Vanguard. Swap it with another unit that hasn't attacked yet. So you can legit play musical chairs with said unit, because Wheel Assault exchanges positions anywhere on the board with 2 units. So you can set yourself up for even like a tiny middle Basil Diamante play because of Wheel Assault. Because you're getting 2 attacks on the Vanguard anyways. You just have to make sure a unit can attack 2 times so you're on the 4th battle. So you got to be prepared for that. That's what makes the assault units more valuable to Tetra's plays in general. You're going to need Tidal, and you're going to need you are going to need Benedict in a sense to kind of make him like a consistent 4 attacks. Because if you do, well, not necessarily, since you did do a switcheroo play where there is a 4th attack. There's a 3rd attack where the 3rd attack would be, obviously, the 3rd attack's going to be Tetra, obviously, if you're killing the PGs with Wheel Assault and you didn't use Basil or Diamantes. Because once you boost, I mean, Wheel Assault is there if you don't even pull Basil or Diamante. That's why Wheel Assault is technically there. He's there to exchange a position with one of the back rows, so it feels like you did a Basil and Diamantes play where Tetra's going to be 3rd, then that rear that was in the back of the Vanguard or the back of Basil or Diamantes, so on and so forth, gets switched. That's your 4th attack. Tetra restands by getting 2 cards. And keep in mind, he is quad checking. He's getting a quad check in like Descendant. The only issue I know you guys are having is he didn't get no crit, he didn't get nothing. Either way, it's still going to be good. You could possibly give him a crit. I mean, I wouldn't say run crits, but you could. He'll keep it. But you have to make it worth your while with it. That's the problem. You got to make it worth your while when you hit it with the quad check. So you got to be careful with that as well. The thing is, there is ways to use this. Japan, I know they're not going to change this effect. He's going to keep this. They want you to use those to make a efficient title deck. You got to go a little bit up and beyond with these 2Ks that give these units that juice. Because if you juice it correctly, you could possibly get 2 attacks on the Vanguard. You can possibly get it. And I say possibly because, again, triggers. Trigger reliant. Your opponent gets a trigger, well, you're screwed. You get a trigger, it's 2 attacks. Because A, if this gets a trigger, this goes back to 1600, so it could attack twice, hypothetically speaking. And as long as you get a trigger, you're good. Or you give it 2000s at 11k, final push to the Seahorse to accelerate commander, and then you're just moving units around up and down with that. There's a lot you do. These are for definitely people that didn't pull Diamantes. These are for people who, I guess, barely pull the Basils. Maybe you need to run Wheel Assault. You're possibly going to need Wheel Assault because Wheel Assault's going to be your backup for a turn attack pattern that you will need. Tetra isn't nerfed. He just requires a lot more skilled thinking in how to go about your attack pattern. You have to think with your Wheel Assaults. You got to think with your Basils. And the whole point about Tidal Assault and Benedict is the fact they aren't counterblast units. They, in the sense, the game studios making you try to decide if you want to waste CB to attack the Vanguard twice. Because in reality, you are technically attacking the Vanguard twice if you're doing a Diamantes play, depending on the intercept game. It would depend where you're at when it comes to Tetra. You know what I'm saying? It depends on that situation because, honestly, Wheel Assault's just a nice backup just in case you didn't pull any Diamantes. And if you didn't pull Diamantes, Benedict will definitely help your Tetra plays because she restands twice. So that can be our 4th attack. Again, a lot of things there. And that's why I was trying to distinguish from how you break ride with this versus how it can be as a unit. Now, the other best thing you could do with this is a self-ping. Say you didn't break ride. Let's do a hypothetical. Say you didn't break ride. You rode Tetra early. What do? You can self-ping yourself, prep a spiral play, set up that card combo for it, wheel assault, restand, attack twice. It's possible. It's very doable. You're getting 2 attacks on the Vanguard regardless if you do it right. Because in reality, you could do it right because this goes up to 1600. And if you do 1 spiral play, that's fine. As long as it hits once and then it restands itself, it's okay. And then Tetra just goes ahead and filters for you. Discard 2 G3s you didn't need. Possibly draw a PG and another G2 for later. And go about your plays. The thing is, with Tetra, but with any deck, some decks become very trigger reliant. Tidal's no different. A trigger is a trigger. You need it, you need it. Especially when it comes to Assault. You need the trigger. You get the trigger, Assault can possibly attack the Vanguard twice if they don't trigger, with a 7k booster in the back, which will possibly be Wheel Assault. Something like that. But that's the whole point. Tetra's very different between Blue Storm. Yes, everyone's gonna Blue Storm is always, I mean, I won't front. Blue Storm's always gonna feel like the better ride. A free retire, a free draw is what it is. Basil and Diamantes are easily micromanageable. But if you're gonna like really want to make a nice Tetra deck where you're pitching 2 cards from your opponent's hands and if 2 cards in their hand are PGs, guess what? Tetra's gonna swing with a crit first, and then he's gonna swing again with another crit first, and then he's gonna be GGs from there. Because they'll be at 2600 anyways. So that's what makes him like good in that fashion sense. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's why like you'll maybe be running a couple of these G1s. I mean, Sea Soldier isn't technically bad. He can help for like a turn if you even keep him on the field. You give Benedict or Ripple that 11k. He goes down, but the 11k is there for that final turn attack. Because technically, if you think about it, hypothetical, 5th damage. He goes up to 11k because of the Seahorse, of the Sea Soldier. And bada bing, bada boom, he swings once, restands, swing again, knocking out 2 PGs. Then Tetra restands because you got your 4th attack in with a rear guard. And then you swing with Tetra for game. Right? Yeah, right? You can technically do a lot when it comes to these 2k power boosters. They're good in the sense if it's like that final turn, that 5th damage, you can make it work. You can even waste 1 CB. If you have CB3, do a Basil Diamante. As long as you get your 4 attacks in, you're good. And if his intercept game is weak, you're also good from there. You can do everything from there. You just have to play it correctly. That's it. Especially if you give 2,000 to Tidal. He'll be fine to attack the Vanguard twice. And then Tetra can swing for final turn. Just saying. There's many ways, many combos with this. Obviously, this is all theory. This is all crafting. This has to be play tested. Obviously, I'm going to play test it. I get all the cards. I have to play test so I can prove myself right too. But sometimes I don't, and it hurts. But I believe in this theory could work for Tidal Assault. Some of these 2k units, boosting them so they can attack twice. If we hit a trigger, 16, 18. If they don't hit a trigger, that's 2 attacks on the Vanguard. You didn't have to really do much. Obviously, Basil and Diamante make it easy. But say you didn't pull them. Guess what? Do it this way. It can work. It can benefit you. But the Ripples and Benedict are mostly for Tetra plays. And you can run a Secret Glory tech just to psych your opponent out. Be like, psych! And then, yeah, you ride Glory after because then Glory gets a crit. And then you're already at 5th damage because you have 2 intercepts in the front row. I mean, that's what gives Tidal Assault the triple rarities because he's an intercept. That's why he keeps that triple rarity, because he's an intercept that does what Benedict does. So you have a shield, and you have a unit that can attack the Vanguard twice that can prep Tetra Drive. You get it? I mean, that's why Benedict is 1,000. He becomes a 12k. The only reason I can see the 12k working is... the only way I see a 12k working is if you're fighting against MLB. I mean, that's as good as Benedict can get on those types of plays. You're fighting MLB, restand, go, go, go. Something like that. But yeah, Accelerated Pegasus may see some more play. We may see the Sea Soldier play. Tetra is still a quad checking unit. Quad checks some double draws, draw more cards. Draw pieces, get what you need. Stuff like that. Anyways, actually I was debating running like some little crit here and there because technically he can restand with the crit because he won't lose that crit. And also you can give that boost even if you quad check and you hit a trigger sack. Give the trigger sack to freaking him. Give the trigger sack to Assault. Give the trigger sack to Benedict. As long as they can hit the Vanguard once and then you can boost afterwards, it's going to be 2 attacks on the Vanguard regardless with this guy restanding, and you'll be able to do a lot more with it. Honestly, it's going to be a lot of testing. He is a very complicated unit, but if you can make it work with these units, you can get away with so much in Zero's format that make Tetra actually a really good Vanguard. Period. Alright. Done ranting. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. I hope this video helps you. I hope you understand how Tetra is going to work in the new format. Be good. Stay safe. And I'll see you all another time.